Iceman John Bailey. Welcome back to another Iceman series segment. I wanted to talk a little bit more about my Glock 40 and my Glock 20. In my last few videos, I was just pretty much doing a review on my Glock 40 without the trigger, and I added the Vortex Venom red dot sight on this particular Glock 40. Also, I actually added the extended dovetail on the Glock 40 to fit my hand, because like I said, my hand's not real small, but it's not big. I just had to make sure I added this dovetail, because if I didn't, the grip will actually be a little bit too small for me, and I wouldn't be able to manage it like I want to. But a few guys are on YouTube talking about the MOS is trash, but like I said, this is the Gen 4 Glock 40, and I really like the way they actually cut out the riser here. And when they cut it out, they come with four different little plates, and they're like stack plates. And I think you have a 5, 6, 7, and an 8 stack plate on the back end of the riser. But like I said, I got the Venom. This is the Venom red dot, and it doesn't have any parallax. So like I said, wherever I put that dot, I don't know if you guys can see that dot. I'm not sure, but wherever I put that dot, it goes right there. It's really neat. And to be honest with you, when I first got this pistol, the G40, I took it to the range to sight it in, and the actual sight got loose. So what I did, I just went on and took the two screws. These are like star bit screws, 2 star bit screws, and these screws here, they come with the sight. And some guys thinking, oh man, what screws can I use for the MOS? But like I said, they come in so many different I'm sorry, they come with the plates for the MOS G40 or MOS, whatever you get. And whatever sight you use, you have to use your plate to accommodate the difference in the play of the screws, or the length of your screws, and that's when you'll know which plate you're gonna need. So the length of your screws versus the sight versus the plate, that's what you go with. So basically, what you want to do is put a plate on first, put the sight on top of the plate, check the screws, and just use your star bit or whatever type of screws you have, and just try it. Just see how much play you have, and see how much length you're gonna have for the particular setup. So don't put any of the Loctite. Don't put any Loctite on your screws until you determine on which plate you're gonna use with what sight. I don't think all sights are gonna be, like I said, you want to definitely make sure you use the right plate for your sight. And I'm not sure if all sights are going to fit this gun, because that's one thing about it. Some guys may get a sight, they say, oh man, that sight's really cool, but all sights really aren't made for a pistol. So you want to make sure you get a sight that's made for a pistol. Some of these sights are made for ARs, and some are made for pistols. So just because it's cool looking, it's not saying it's going to fit your gun. And that's why some guys may get frustrated, because they're thinking, oh man, the MOS is a piece of junk because I got this sight I really want to put on my pistol, but it won't fit. Find the sight that fit. That's basically all it is to it. But like I said, Vortex, I have a Vortex strike fire for my turkey gun I just got. But like I said, one thing I really like about Vortex is it's parallax free. No matter where that red dot is, and it could be in the corner. It's fast shooting. You could be in the corner. The gun doesn't have to be straight. Wherever that, like I said, wherever that dot is, That's exactly where it's going to go. Some guys want to deal with, oh man, I got to have perfect form. And you do want to have good form. But you don't have to be perfect. You can be sideways and still hit that target because it's parallax free on this particular red dot here. But I'm gonna do a close-up and show you guys what's going on with this particular particular sight and how I got it mounted on the back end. I'm sorry, the top side of my slide. So I'm gonna go ahead and zoom into the pistol a little bit more so you guys can take a look at it. Okay, go ahead and do a close-up on the on my G40. Then I'll talk a little bit about my G20 here. Let's do a close-up and let you guys see what I'm talking about. I'll try to get as close as I can. Let's see. I don't know if you guys can see the vortex. Okay, right here. Okay, I'm just going to show you guys a little bit on the setup. Like I said, right here is how I got this pistol set up. And if you look at the back side and the front side of the sight, you actually you could tell that the venom is actually down into the riser, and I like it like that. I don't really have to have this vortex venom. I don't have to have it level. I don't have to have it level with the top of the riser. Some guys say, oh yeah, I want mine level at the top of the riser. I don't really have to have that. And the only reason why I use this, I think it's the number 5 MOS plate to mount the actual sight. And the only reason why I put the number 5 plate in here is because the screws would have been too long. I'm sorry, the screws would have been too short if I had to put a thicker plate on here. So basically, I just got it to the point where I have it kind of low down into the actual riser, because I can somewhat still see my sights to a point. Because really, the back side, if you look at the back side, see where my finger is? If you okay, look at the back side of the actual sight. So if my red dot battery go bad, I can use the back side of this sight instead of using this sight, because really this sight is a little bit higher than this one here. So I can use this sight and the front sight and line it up. That's really cool about this particular setup here. And also my actual trigger, make sure this is empty. I got the that's the Zeb's competition trigger. That's a Zeb's competition trigger here, which is, I adjusted it all the way down to 3.5 pounds. Because once I make sure it's empty, once I cock it, I have the actual trigger compressed. Once I cock it, and when I release it, you hear that click, and it's like 3.5 pounds. And that's one cool thing about this Zeb's trigger. Like I said, you can adjust it probably down to 3 pounds, but like I said, make sure it's just empty here, nothing in here. And once you compress this trigger, after you cock it and release it, you'll hear that click, and it's like 3 pounds. I thought it was 3.5 pounds. It just, to me, it feels like 3 pounds because I'm so used to pulling triggers on guns, bows, and it just feels like it feels like a 3-pound trigger to me. It's like, gosh, it's super light. It just feels like a 3-pound trigger, and the creep, very little creep, very little creep, very little creep. But like I said, if you have your Glock 40, your trigger, sight, everything set up correctly, to me this is the ultimate backup pistol. 44 Magnum, great. Of course, I have a Super Red Hawk 454 Casull, 10-inch barrel, loophole scope. Got my trigger custom to a 2-pound trigger, but I just like this MOS because when you shoot it, you can have hot loads in here, but when you shoot it, it feels like you're shooting a 9mm because the slide is so big and heavy. The gun doesn't even kick that much. And I'm gonna put a clip on here. I got a video out about me shooting at 15 yards, but I'm gonna put my clip on here about me shooting it, and you won't be able to see the gun, but pistol should I say, but you'll actually see the group with me shooting this trigger here. But like I said, the Vortex Venom, Vortex, they make super awesome sights and scopes. You can't go wrong if you put a Vortex on your pistol or your actual rifle or your assault rifle or whatever, shotgun, whatever you decide to do. But like I said, the MOS, it comes with the extended dovetails to fit that particular hand. Always make sure that gun is gonna fit that hand. And one other tip I want to throw in there: when you're actually shooting your pistol, use that thumb as a stabilizer. I mean, put that thumb right there. And when you're shooting, because me personally, I have a problem always shooting to the left. So I thought about it. I said, you know what? I bow hunt all the time. I bow hunt, and that stabilizer, it helped me stable the actual shot. So I started using my thumb, and I put it below my slide right here. And every time I shoot, I will put a little bit of pressure on it, but you can't put too much pressure on it, because what it'll do, it'll carry your round all over the place, because you want to have consistent pressure all the time. You want your pressure on that thumb. You want it to kind of be rigid, just kind of rigid, but don't push towards it, but just kind of have your thumb kind of rigid. And when you actually pulling that trigger, that thumb is going to actually keep that that thumb's going to keep that round going straighter and more consistent, versus you trying to put your finger down here and nothing up here. You always want to have something to actually keep that pistol stabilized, because you're already using that side here. You always want to have a really good form when you're trying to be consistent, when you're trying to be accurate. But if you're just out playing around, it doesn't really matter much. But to really be a good pistol shooter, you really want to have a good form. And like I said, I always use that thumb as a stabilizer, and I was always shooting to the left. And when I put that thumb in a rigid state on the left side, on the bottom, under the slide, man, it just tightened my group up like crazy. But like I said, G40, Zeb's competition trigger, adjustable trigger, Vortex Venom, no parallax sight, perfect for me, perfect for me. But like I said, I don't have no problem with the actual the sight being just a small amount lower than my actual in line with my riser. It doesn't really have to be in line with my riser. I'd rather for it to be a little bit lower, because like I said, I can use the back side of this sight. I can use these two little notches for a back reference point, just in case if my actual my battery run dead. But anyway, the only downside to me, or should I say, the only downside to this Glock, and all Glocks, for my opinion, is the actual finish. They're easy to scar up. You got to really keep them looking nice. They're easy to scar up. That's why a lot of guys they dip them. And I'm not going to dip this here because I might sell it. I don't know, and get another one later on. I'm not sure. But as of now, I'm going to keep it. I really like it. I set it up the way I wanted it. I put the sight on here. But also, make sure you put some Loctite. Put the blue Loctite on here once you mount this sight onto your slide. And then it won't go anywhere, because I didn't put any Loctite on there when I first put it on here. And shooting it, the actual sight got loose. So I went on and backed the screws back out, put some Loctite on them, and started shooting it again. Normally they say give it 24 hours so it'll go ahead and cure, but I didn't. I just went on and shot it. But like I said, to me it's like shooting a 9mm. That's one cool thing about this thing if you take this thing to grizzly country. And personally, I like these rounds here. These are the Underwood Extreme Penetrators, 140 grain. These things supposed to go through like 3 inches of bulletproof glass. I wish I had some bulletproof glass to test it. I saw one guy on YouTube. He shot right through the bulletproof glass. So could you imagine taking these things in the woods with you for a backup? Because I'm telling you, if this thing will penetrate, it will break bone and go right through bone. So if it's going to go through 3 inches of bulletproof glass, you know it's going to break bone. So that's one thing about it. Don't carry hollow points in the woods. Mainly if you're talking about something that could kill you and eat you. Always carry something in the woods that's going to penetrate. It doesn't have to be these extreme penetrators. They have the flat nose penetrators, and they have these extreme penetrators from Underwood. But if you get the ones that has the flat nose on them, they penetrate really well. I think they penetrate even better than these. I'm not sure. But if these are going to go through bulletproof glass, you know what they'll do to bone. Okay, and only 140 grains. That's what's so crazy about the whole scenario. But these are both, like I said, this is my 20, this is my G20, and quite naturally this is my G40. But both of them are Gen 4. But only difference is I don't have the cutout. This isn't an MOS. Don't have the cutout for this here. I wasn't even going to worry about it. I wasn't worried about getting the MOS in my Glock 20, but I wanted the MOS in my Glock 40 because I just wanted to have a big bore pistol just in case if I go hunting, or like I said, in some cases I can use this as my backup if I decide to go out in bear country. But like I said, my Glock 20 here, I use this a lot because I got attacked by 5 full-grown pit bulls probably about 6 years ago, and I had my Glock 20 on my hip, and I think they had killed a deer or something. And I actually I was walking through the woods and I had it on my hip and didn't even have a round in the chamber. It was just a magazine. So all of a sudden the alpha male, he decided he wanted to test me. So he just put his ears back, hair went up on his back. I think it was like 40 or 50 yards away from me. And so he just came on a dead run. And instinctively I pulled his pistol out, cocked it real quick, and had it beside him within 2 seconds. And then I shot beside him. I think it was like 35 yards by the time I had it trained on him. And he was like 35 yards away from me. And I just put it on him and shot right beside him. And he just turned around and went back. And I said to myself, okay, if you keep on coming, I'm going to go ahead and plant one on your forehead. And I'm glad I didn't have to do that. Some guys, oh man, you should have shot him anyway. I was like, no. If he kept coming, of course I would have. But he turned around and went back. So I love this Glock 20 because it's compact and it's a hammer. It's definitely a hammer. But the Glock 40, like I said, the G40 to me is a showstopper. It's just a showstopper. It's the biggest, baddest Glock, baddest pistol that Glock makes to date. And I'm sure they're gonna make something else. I know they got something else in the making. But like I said, it looks like it's real bulk. I mean, it looks like it's real difficult to shoot. But once you put that magazine in there, it's just, man, it's right there. It is right there. And it is a little heavy. It is a little heavy, but it's so manageable to shoot. It's so manageable to shoot. I mean, you can get on anything real quick and you're there. And rapid fire, no problem, because the muzzle doesn't jump that much. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and get off the soapbox, and I just thought I'd show it to you guys. But like I said, don't be afraid to get a Venom, Vortex Venom. Perfect, to me, is perfect. Perfect sight for this particular pistol here. But only downside to this sight, when you lay it down and your gun case, you got the cover on here, make sure you don't have it too tight, because what it'll do, it'll turn your sight on. When you lay it down, it'll turn it on. So I put either indentation in my foam when I lay it down, so it won't even touch the won't touch the power button. I kind of wish the power button was on top instead of the side, and then you won't have to worry about that. But you have to improvise for factory design. So that's basically what you can do. But like I said, all in all, it's a really good sight for the money. I think I paid I can't remember, let me see. Yeah, I paid $229 for it, and it's really nice. It's really nice. I didn't think I would like a red dot, but I really like it. But like I said, I'm off of here. I do a lot of talking, and I hope it's productive talking versus just rambling on. But like I said, once again, Glock G40, Glock G40, and Glock G20. Perfect. I'm a Glock fanatic anyway. There's a lot of other good pistols out there, but I'm just a Glock man. But anyway, Iceman signing out. And one other thing I wanted to share. If you guys don't know Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior, I ask you to get to know Him. And like I said, He came into my life years ago and cleaned me up, and He's still working on me right to this day. I have a long way to go, but the Bible says there's no perfect one but the Father. But if He come into your life, I guarantee you He'll clean you up from your childhood hurt, anything that you're going through. If your husband messed around on you, or if your wife messed around on you, if she left you for another man, or if if your husband left you for another woman, God can still come into your life and just get you straight, clean you up. And because like I said, it's all about Him anyway. That's why He died on the cross. He died on the cross for us. He died on the cross that we may live. But if He didn't die on the cross, none of us would be here. But anyway, read Romans 10:9, confess with your mouth, believe in your heart that God's raised Him from the dead, you shall be saved. But don't forget to repent. Also repent and forgive. Learn how to forgive one another as well. And all these people that's going through this pandemic, I pray that you all are safe. Use your mask, use your gloves, wash your hands, practice social distance, the 6 feet social distance, and also anybody that died in this corona, our heart goes out to the family. All right, Iceman signing out. God bless.